Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Unpacked with Mr. Nadia Mabuko here on Komwesu. So today I have been joined by a very beautiful, hardworking woman that is doing, tremendous work in her industry, and we get to learn more from her and what the organization that she's coming from does. So I'm joined by the membership and business development specialist at ZAM, Madam Patience Hamayobe. I hope I pronounced your name right.
Yes, you did.
Yes, so today we're simply talking about women in industry and being a woman's month. So let's dive right into it.
Okay.
Welcome.
Thank you for that very interesting introduction. I couldn't even recognize you're speaking about patience.
I mean, it's Women's Month, women lift women. So
I'm glad.
Yeah. So maybe you can just introduce yourself and tell us what ZAM is all about.
Okay. As you already said, my name is Patience Hamayobe. I'm the membership and business development specialist at ZAM. So I'll talk about ZAM and what my role there would then be. So as ZAM, the Zambia Association of Manufacturers, we represent the interests of manufacturing companies of Zambia, but not just that, we also have a sector that contributes or assists these manufacturing companies, such as telecommunication, the financial sector as well. So we have over 20 subsector that we do represent. And of course, our largest pool of member comes from the agro-processing. And as you said, it's a Women's Month, and most of the players in the agro-processing are women. So what do we do as ZAM? So as ZAM, we offer policy advocates for these manufacturing companies. We speak to them about issues that are affecting their business. We're more like a bridge between them and the government, as we work with different government departments, but closely with Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry, as well as Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Small Medium Enterprise Development as well. So not only do we offer policy advocates, we also do market linkages. So as I said, it's easy for a company or for a person to dream about inventing your grandma's recipe from 10 years ago, but for you to actually find a market for that product is challenging. So there we step in as ZAM by linking these manufacturers to different chain stores, as well as those that are in the engineering sector, to the mines and other cooperating partners that we work with. But not only that as well, we also deal with capacity building. So we understand that most of our members are SMEs and they're still growing, so they need a bit of hand-holding, and their ZAM has been doing great works. We've partnered with different institutions just to build capacity for these companies. So that's basically what ZAM does. And as my role from the association, I make sure my members are happy. And how do I keep them happy is by responding to their daily needs, their daily issues that they come up with. So yes, that's about patience and ZAM.
All right, so you talked about finding the market being the biggest challenge, which leads me to actually my first question. What are the biggest challenges women face in entering and advancing in various industries in Zambia, particularly in traditionally male-dominated sectors?
I think first of all, I would speak to the knowledge gap that has been consistent. Yes, there are a lot of women traders out there, but they're not yet formalized. And as we did a study to just outline what are some of the challenges that a startup company faces. And one of the issues that we came up with is a number of licenses. So for a small company to start up, it will need, I would say maybe about 20 licenses, and all that comes with money. And that leads me to my second challenge for women, access to finance. Most women are small and they're starting up and they do not have access to finance. Yes, right now we have different platforms that government has created. Some might say, but we have CEC there that gives out loan. We have also other financial institutions that have jumped in to provide these women with loans. But if you look at the CEC applications from women, most of them do not even have the capacity to write a business proposal that is required. And recently we've heard of stories where women pay huge sums of money to people that should assist them write these business proposals, but at the end of the day, they don't even get the proposals, they're duped and so on and so forth. And when it comes to financial institutions, you find that the conditions that are set before these women, some of them, yes, they are tailored to meet their needs, but most of them still do complain that they don't manage to meet the needs and the requirements of the financial institutions. Another challenge that I would speak to would also be, as you mentioned, access to market. Access to market has been a huge, because although you are registered and although you are manufacturing, you need to get certain things in place. For shops like ShopRite, Pick and Pay, obviously you have to be certified by Zambia Bureau of Standards. You have to be certified as well with Zambia Meteorological Agency, and so on and so forth. So for them to go through all those processes, they do not have the capacity, they do not have the resources, and they do not have the knowledge of where to start from and where to go.
Great. You did mention to say one of the ministries that you work closely with is the Ministry of Commerce. So how effective have government policies and how effective has government policies and initiative been promoting gender equality and women's participation in Zambia's workforce for women?
Okay, I feel government has been deliberate in supporting women. Yes, we've gotten number of support, and most of the things obviously we have seen where they say women it's must, a woman must attend, or a woman must submit a business or a grant proposal. So we have gotten support from the government, but not only that, them going a step further by putting up certain laws that govern how women should access certain things. So for example, where they say women should get at least 20% from what the CEC is giving out. I think that's deliberate, and that's a welcome move that we do appreciate as so yes.
Great. What role do the financial institutes play in supporting female entrepreneurship in Zambia as well as ZAM?
Okay, we have seen a number of financial institutions coming on board. I know you know of Z Banking. Is it Z Banking? Should be Z Banking if I'm not mistaken. We know of Anaka's network that also jumps on and champions women's banking. But not only that, ZAM has been partnering with these institutions to go a step further by offering the women training by a number of activities that we have been having since 2021. We have this deliberate event that we host, which is the Women in Industry. We have been hosting it for 4 years. This will be the 5th year we are having it. And we have worked with different financial institutions just to make sure that our women get the right access to markets, get the right access to finance, as well as get the right training.
Okay, great. I think you have highlighted some of the challenges that women face in entering the marketplace and all this. What gap has been bridged between, let's say, now and 10 years ago?
Well, I would say now we have a number of women that are actually starting up their businesses. So there's obviously that, I don't know if it's momentum or courage. Women now feel that they can start a business and they can manage a business. Before that, we had a few women that would actually participate in this industry. But coming from the manufacturing sector, I think from my database, not much. I would say we have over 20 women that are actively participating in the manufacturing sector. So for me, that's a plus, because the numbers are growing and people are getting the right training, the right access to information, and they know they can do this.
Okay.
Yes.
So what then would you say is the biggest gap that we are yet to fill for women representation in leadership position in Zambia?
Okay. That's a tricky one. I think it's the issue of women not being comfortable with certain positions, or women not occupying the right spaces as we should. I would say stepping up has been the greatest challenge, and not believing in ourselves enough that we can actually do this and we can actually hold these leadership positions. So I think with proper training, proper grooming, more on mentorship, focused trainings, those can help to bridge some of these gaps with women. I think women can stand up now, but it's just the right amount of information and the courage to know that I can do this or she can do that.
Sure. What impact has the rise of women-owned businesses had on Zambia's economy, and what strategies can be implemented?
I would say, as I mentioned earlier, most of the women that are in our sector are in agro-processing, and agro-processing is basically the basket of Zambian economy. So they contribute a lot in that regard. While there are other women that are traders and are not yet recognized as registered business, but they do contribute to that, as well as to the employment numbers. They employ a lot of people to run their business, as well as to run their business with them. That has contributed to the economy of the country, which is a plus. What was the other question? The strategies?
Yes, that can be implemented. I think you would agree with me, say the agriculture sector is one of the industry sectors that has employed a number of people, yet it has low income. Yeah. So what strategies then can be implemented, to even further women empowerment?
Okay. I would speak to financing. So for companies that are SMEs are in agro-processing, women-led of course, most of them are still looking for financing as well when it comes to machinery funding, equipment funding. So to find a partner that can help these companies upskill, that could be a good strategy. But not just that, the monitoring and evaluation should also be strengthened to know, okay, what is lacking and what can that institution then do to help these women contribute to the economy. So I would say funding, it can be in form of machinery, it can be in terms of capital, but it should be there. The M&A also should be strong in that regard. There should also be training. As I said, most of them are SMEs. They do not know, they do not have the right information or right resources to actually get all these licenses. But if we have someone that bridges that gap, then it would be very important or very good for them to actually upskill.
Okay. Does ZAM have a system that you use to identify people, women, in these businesses and bring them on board, or you have a process that, for example, if I'm in business that I need to follow to be able to actually access certain information and opportunities that you offer?
Well, we do have a database, but it's also limited to our members. But one thing we have been deliberate about is trying to reach out to many women as possible. As I said, we do not work alone, we work with different partners. So we have been working with the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprise Development just to tap into this area. We also worked with AGS project. It was a project that was funded by the Finnish embassy. So through that project, we're able to tap into different women that are manufacturing but not yet registered. So we got those people to be our members and provide certain information that they'll need to proceed with their business. But not only that, the annual event that I spoke to brings a whole range of women. So we want women that are actually doing something. Is it business? Is it manufacturing? Are you a tailor? Anything that adds value. We welcome them and we provide a basic platform for them to tap in, get to network, to meet other women and just socialize. So yes, those are the different platforms that we put together. Sam, I know they are not enough, but
it's a starting point.
It is a starting point.
You're heading somewhere.
Yes.
Well, you actually dived into my last question. I was gonna ask what, being a Women's Month, what programs does ZAN have in store for our women before this month ends rather?
Okay, I know we're late to the table, and most of the institutions had their events, but I'm glad to announce that we'll be having our Women in Industry tour and masterclass. So this is the 5th time we're hosting this event since 2021, and the first event was actually graced by Her Honor the Vice President, the former Vice President, Madam Inongewina, and I'm glad to share that the current Vice President has been our guest of honor last year, and she's also coming to grace us this year as well. So for this year, we plan to have a tour and a masterclass. So the tour is meant to facilitate a practical feel for the women that actually starting up and do not know exactly what to do when you're about to start manufacturing. So we are going to be touring 4 companies. I don't know if I can mention them. So we're going to be touring Lupia, which is a financial institution, just to know what they have done and what supports they have for the women. Thereafter, we'll move to Chilanga Cements, just to have a view of the factory and what they're doing. Then we'll move to Mupapa Woods. Mupapa Woods is also an SME that is doing great works in terms of wood and wood products. We'll close the tour with Varun Beverages Zambia. That will be our last point. So we'll be touring 4 companies this Thursday. And on Friday, we'll have a masterclass, of which we'll have the Vice President coming through. So for the masterclass, we want to train the women on the 2 points that I spoke about, which is access to markets as well as access to finance. So then we'll have a sit down with the women and train them on what they need to know on access to finance and access to markets.
Where do you see women in 10 years when we talk about women in industry?
Wow. I think I'm one person that is very passionate about women. I see women occupying different leadership roles, but not only that, I see my number growing. I see 100, 200, 500 women that are actually venturing into manufacturing and adding value to the nation, not just the nation, but to our lives as well as our families.
Well, we wish you all the best, and as Kumwesu, we recommend the work that you are doing with your organization. Thank you so much for finding time to speak with me.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the time and the space. Thank you.
All right, so I was being joined by Patience Hamayoba. She is the Membership and Business Development Specialist at ZAM, and today we've been talking about women in industry. I've been your host, Sarah Nidia Mabugu. Until next time, bye-bye.